Oh, he's so excited.
And we are on for episode 8, the mid-season finale.
Yes.
Finally wrapped up. What a good episode.
What a great episode.
What a strong episode. I see they bounced between different stories and see how well that worked out.
That should be a whole season thing. They should be doing that every season, focusing on and they do the whole maybe 1, maybe 2, and then you forget about a few people for a few episodes. But why can't you discuss 5 or 6 minutes on each people? And then you don't have to do this catch-up thing at the end of the season or the mid-season finale where you have to do a 90-minute episode because you have to draw all of these storylines together.
Absolutely. And so getting right into the episode, which, again, I just was so happy with because it's a mid-season finale and you're really worried, like, are they going to mess this up? Is it going to be boring? I thought it was a very strong episode. It had a lot of, I would say high-octane action, but it was very entertaining. Like, it was always something happening, something keeping you on the edge of your toes. And so, edge of your seat, on the tips of your toes. It's early.
Tips of your seat toes.
Yeah, there you go. And so starting out with Maggie and Gregory. Maggie definitely asserting some dominance over Gregory.
She ate the shit out of that apple.
She did. I thought she was going to take a bite and just throw it right, or like spit off the wall just to kind of like F you, Gregory. But Maggie definitely showing she's a boss and, she's... I don't see too much longer until she's running the hilltop. But we've got a little secret keeping, between Sasha and her. Sasha's not telling... Maggie that she sent Jesus to get the location of Negan so she could kill him, basically. I guess because she feels Maggie's pregnant, she doesn't want her to be in the middle of the war.
I just did an eye roll.
And you know how stress affects a fetus.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then
JayPea, hey!
Huh?
How's it going?
I'm a little sleepy.
Oh, no.
JayPea just walked into the room.
Yeah.
Right?
But I'm good.
And, of course, the first thing he talks about is a fetus.
Yeah, well, I like the fetuses or the feti. I don't know.
JayPea loves the kids,
JayPea
as he said in his 5 minutes.
I don't like kids. The fetus. That's it. Once it's out of the womb, I don't.
Before they start causing trouble, you're cool with it. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So moving along to dinner scene. Well, the spaghetti eating.
Was that breakfast?
No,
or was
it
that
wouldn't be
lunch,
breakfast.
Or?
That was like evening time.
Oh, okay.
But still, it's all good.
As many hours past.
I'm sure somebody in the world eats spaghetti for breakfast.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? It's delicious anytime.
Right.
Spaghetti.
I mean, reheated spaghetti.
I loved that scene though, where he was like, "Carl, pass the rolls."
He shaved.
Oh yeah, that's
We've
something.
We've got clean face Negan. Something I think comic book fans are excited to see.
And he gave Carl some terrible advice. You should never give a teenager before they shave against the grain. He told him to no. You will get
a much closer shave when you go against the grain. But my God, like I guess I've got sensitive skin, so I would be broke out.
As beard having men, we understand you can't do that. I mean, I guess some people can if they have rough skin, and I guess he doesn't care. But
to those that haven't seen, JayPea did reveal his face on the podcast with the gameplay videos. Face. You haven't seen Matt or mine, but Matt and I both have beards.
We have faces.
JayPea, yeah, we swear. We do have faces, we promise. JayPea, not so much on the facial hair, but
JayPea not so much on the face.
He keeps his shaved a lot.
Look, I'm a local leader in the business community. I can't be looking like a bearded man.
Are we talking about legal business here?
Does
you got to be
really
clean
matter?
shaven. Any kind of business, legal or illegal.
So now we've gotten Carolyn Morgan kind of in the cliche, like, oh, we need your help. I don't know why y'all are bothering me. I don't want to be any part. We've seen this before on the show and other things. You've got the person, but I do like how Morgan straight up told Richard when he was like, I don't know if you're used to combat or whatever, and said she's probably the best fighter in this room. Because Carol's a badass.
I was happy to see them again because it's been a little while. But like you said, it's just the same thing over and over again.
Carol's kind of like the Batman of The Walking Dead because she's not just a great fighter, but she's a great strategist. She's great at keeping things like to herself, playing she played the innocent.
Yeah,
like older lady several times, and unknowing to them, she was a badass. The whole gun in the shirt thing. I mean, I know Batman wouldn't gun like people down, but that whole secret gadget thing is something. Batman has secrets up his sleeves. No, Carol wasn't anything like that. I mean, in the first 3 seasons, I think season 3 she started somewhat coming around. But I mean, in season 1 and 2, she was just a very timid, meek. She did a complete 180. I mean,
So what is it going to take to bring her into the war?
I think she doesn't know. She doesn't know about Glenn and Abraham yet, does she?
No,
especially
they don't.
True.
She's been with Glenn since the beginning. Abraham was kind of new to her, I guess, in the last couple of seasons, but. Glenn's maybe once she finds out that Negan beat them to death, maybe that will make her jump into
the edge.
And they weren't with the group. I know this is skipping ahead. We'll come back to it, but they weren't with the group at the end, were they?
No,
they still weren't. They're still not meet up. They still haven't met up yet.
But Rick mentioned them, right?
Yeah.
So Rick, how does Rick know about it?
That's what I was wondering.
Jesus, do you know what Jesus probably told him about?
Jesus knows everything.
Jesus does know everything.
He's always watching.
Everywhere. And all right, so we've got.
I really want to get a bumper sticker made of like Jesus is my zombie co-pilot. I really want to get that made up.
But yeah, so we've got Morgan and Carol. They're trying to get Carol into the fold, into this war. And of course, I like what Morgan told her because she kept kind of like fussing at Morgan. And Morgan's like, you weren't supposed to see me. Like, I didn't come here to chit chat. I just was dropping off some food, of which apparently Ezekiel's been dropping off little love baskets of food too. I'm telling you, Ezekiel and Carol, that'll be a power couple.
Yeah.
It'll be a couple you don't want to mess with.
Nope. With their pet tiger.
Ezekiel's badass. You know, just in the one episode we saw him, he was badass.
We only one episode
he
with
was
him.
badass. So
hopefully
him and Carol together. I think he's going to be a
half.
much bigger part as we move into the second half of this. I think the first half of this was just really getting you to know Negan and how they operate. And I think the second half, what would you say, JP, comic-wise? Because this has been following the comics pretty closely. When you say the second half of season 7 looks like it might be getting ready for the March to War storyline. And season 8 will probably be the all-out war.
I wrote that down. Yeah, we are on our way. War is coming.
Yeah, we're on. I think March to War will be, what this second half of the season maybe will follow, and then once you get to season 8, that's going to be like all out war.
Is that going to stretch it out too much? Like, is that going to be a lot of filler episodes for the second half?
I don't think so.
I hope not.
I don't think so. March to War actually is extremely action packed. I mean, you'll get to see Jesus take on Negan if they do it like they did in the comics.
Oh, that's right. A lot of stuff has to happen before Negan's like, all right, we're just going to take them all out.
Oh, but that and before Rick and them are finally like, we're going to fight. Rick has said now we're going to fight. But, Rick finally, March to War is where Rick's, I guess in the comic is where Rick just gets stretched to the point where he knew out the gate, though. This Rick, I think, was actually just being submissive in general, but then
you don't
now
think he was playing along?
Maybe, but that's what I was going to say. He just said this time that it took him till now to understand when he was having that long talk with Michonne that it was taking till now. Whereas in the comic, he straight up tells Andrea like after day 1, like, look, I have a plan, but I need these people to fear Negan.
And in the comic, he already knew about the kingdom and he knew about the hilltop, so he knew he had the numbers. It was just a matter of bringing everyone together.
Whereas now he thought they were severely outnumbered and there was not much,
Man, like his main advantage in the comic was they could make their own bullets. Now Negan has Eugene.
Which, didn't they get Eugene in the comics? I think I remember Eugene being captured in the comics.
But I don't think it was right out of the gate like this.
It might not have been.
I could be wrong, but I'm thinking...
I remember him being there because I remember Dwight like coming in the room and talking to him in the comic. It's been a while since I've read that storyline.
Same here.
But I have to go back. But yeah, they did. I mean, they don't. You know what it's going to be? They're going to have to go to that Oceanside Village or Oceanside, whatever they call it. That's going to be their ticket because I don't think they're going to align themselves with them. I think they're just going to wipe them out.
No.
Speaking of that, who were those shoes when Aaron and Rick were at the lake? Was that one of the Whisperers?
I was going to say the rumors are that it could be a Whisperer. If it was a Whisperer, I'd bet that it was Beta. Just because it looked kind of like big shoes. I couldn't see Alpha if they were going to go by the comics having those big shoes. Yeah.
Speaking of them out at the river, I want to see a montage of just every person laying on their back exasperated after a zombie fight. Because like when Aaron gets up on the dock, he just sprawls out and lays back. And then they never care there's dead zombies near them.
Hey, I hear
like, they
zombie
don't
fights
care.
Take it out
if
of
I
you.
looked over, I was like, no. But yeah, they just every time. Like, I've seen
and let
that
me
so
say,
many
I'm
times
glad
staring up
Aaron
at the
didn't
sky.
get bit. I really like Aaron, and I am glad. I thought they were going to just do the same thing they did with Bob. Like he was going to come out and be like, I'm fine. You were going to find out later he got bit when he was underwater, but thus far he seems fine.
Yeah, the way that he was saying, like he was saying to himself, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
I like Aaron a lot. I really think his character, and in the comics, Aaron's a big part of everything, but I think that this character on the show has a chance to be, to step into like Glenn's shoes and all these main characters. He has the ability because the actor's great. The guy that plays him does a fantastic job.
I think zombies are like snakes. They can't bite you underwater.
Water moccasins, bro.
Bob would probably...
No, they can't bite you underwater.
Really?
I don't think so. That's always been the word around the river.
Pretty sure Bob would protest that.
Oh, well, if you say
considering he got bit underwater.
That is true.
But
I don't believe it.
But anyways, Aaron has the ability. I mean, he's tough. He's willing to fight. He's not a coward. He's very strong, very tough. Looks like he can dish it out. So I'm hoping that they will. I'm glad he didn't get bit. I'm hoping we see him stay in there.
I love that curly hair.
Father Gabriel is actually. I told my dad. I said, please don't kill him this episode because The Walking Dead has a very predictable routine of, all right, we're going to make you like this character that you weren't so sure of, and then we're going to kill him. So I'm glad that Father Gabriel's stepping up. I like him too.
I love what his character is becoming.
Him. Yeah,
I love it because he started off like a snot nose, like
well,
punk.
that's real character development.
Right.
That's someone who actually is not just overnight overnight flip-flopping, like, oh, I can't do this. Oh, I'm a badass. Like, it's taken him.
We get so excited when they get it right.
Yeah. Well, it's taken him being ostracized pretty much from the group. Rick just basically saying, screw you, to seeing how brutal they have to be. Like, Father Gabriel's, in my opinion, character progression is very real. It's much more realistic.
Has he killed anyone yet?
Yes. Remember when he was praying to that guy?
That's right.
They raided
there we go.
Raided the outpost. So, all right, Michonne. Straight cold-hearted, man.
I wrote down, go ahead, Michonne. Shoot the driver in the head while you're going 50 miles an hour. We'll see how it works out for you.
But they always do that in movies. I'm always thinking,
I don't get that. Why would you
kill that person?
I'd be like, stop
screwed.
the car, pull over for a second.
Pull over. I'm totally not going to shoot you.
Of course she's going to call your bluff. This lady doesn't want to. This lady doesn't want to be alive anyway.
But
apparently.
It's almost she wanted Michonne to kill her.
What's her name? I forget her name.
I don't know who.
All these characters not important.
I don't even know if we even got her name. Did we? She just showed up. Just in an episode
Let's
or two.
go with like
you know what? Let me bounce back there for a second before we go to Michonne in the car. Back to Rick and Aaron. Rick and Aaron. So they're getting all these supplies, and oh boy, I thought when he saw that, you win, but you still lose or whatever.
Right.
I thought when he got that, I was thinking, you better throw that away if you're carrying this in the saviors, man. What are you thinking? And but that looked like a video game setup, didn't it? The way it was like zombies in the water. It's like I was waiting for some like 8-bit music to come on. Like,
that's good.
But that's pretty intimidating. Pretty cool trap setting by whomever. This sarcastic guy is.
That's what I thought at first was the boots. Was like whoever's place this was, he was just kind of coming home and like, what?
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, you guys are so smart.
But that might have been his place. I mean, it could be a whole new character. I was trying to think of someone in the comics, and if it's not a Whisperer, I really can't think of a character it could be. But, like JayPea said, it could have been whoever's place that was. Maybe he was out, and now he followed them back to Alexandria. Maybe he'll become an ally. Who knows? I definitely don't think he's with the Saviors. So, I mean, if he's, so who knows? The sky's the limit on that one. Michonne in the car, heartless.
Yeah.
She just, it's not heartless. Michonne's got heart, but you know what I'm saying. She's out for blood, man. Yeah. So glad to see her because, like I said, Michonne is, and I think JayPea as well, is other than Rick, because obviously Rick's the focal point of the story, no matter how you want to. But taking him out of the equation, Michonne's my favorite. I just love her. I think the actress is really good. I think the character is one of the best comic to show adaptations. She's not quite as horny in the show as she is in the comic. In the comic, she's kind of a horn dog. But taking that out, she's a very one of the best from page to screen characters. I think that the actress just
she totally nails it, yeah.
So I like her, and I'm glad. I like her being more the housewife and all of that, but I wanted to see her get back to her badassness, because Michonne is could arguably be one of the best fighters in Rick's group.
Right.
Not, of course, Jesus. I think Jesus is supposed to be the best hand-to-hand combatant in their little world. But taking him out, Michonne of Rick's group is definitely probably the most capable fighter. I mean, she could take out the majority of the men there in a fist fight. So, I was just glad to see her. I like her being stepmama, blah, 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 but I am glad to see her getting back to being badass.
That scowl, though, man, I do not look forward if Carl ever upsets her about something. He doesn't clean her room.
I said clean your room, Carl.
Shink. Okay, Michonne. Okay.
Oh, man. So now we're going back to the hilltop with Sasha, Enid, and Maggie. Enid definitely stepping in, I think, kind of taking the Sophia role if you read the comics.
Oh, okay.
Sophia is actually still alive in the comics, whereas she is dead in the show. And I think Enid is there to kind of fill that role of teenage girl to Maggie.
That was a nice little lighthearted scene for a very heavy episode. Like the whole thing about, do you want a plate? No, a plate will just get in her way.
Right.
And then she says, are you going to be the president of Hilltop? She said Maggie for president. If this episode would have come out before the election, we had people, 15,000 people write in Harambe, and another 3,000 people wrote in Hennessy.
How many people would have wrote in Maggie?
Could you imagine?
I'd follow Maggie Green.
Absolutely. Is she part of the Green Party?
Ooh,
yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And then so you've got, of course, Sasha and Enid had the moment we were talking about earlier where we said that, Sasha's not filling in Maggie on the whole trying to get vengeance on Negan thing. Even though knowing, Maggie wants vengeance is probably as much as anyone.
Yeah.
I was going to think Rosita. I always, for some reason, I get Sasha and Rosita mixed up sometimes. I guess
it's because they were both banging Abraham
did too, yeah. I just go by whoever did and didn't bang Abraham. That's how I figure out the characters.
That's how I remember Rick.
Rosita, we'll get to it in a minute, but she's already a great actress.
Yeah.
But man, she was just giving it her all.
Oh,
this
yeah,
episode.
she did a face. She's a great. She's really stepping up there with Michonne in terms of like being that badass female, like strong lead female.
All I can see, whenever I close my eyes, all I see is Michonne's angry face.
Rosita had a good angry face too. I loved when she had the knife on her.
Ooh,
and she just lifted her head. That was very, you know what? That was almost like Abrahamish.
Got me
Think about
hyped.
that. They might not have done that on purpose, but that very much is kind of like a flashback to Abraham. Yeah, because Abraham, when Negan walked by with the bat, just stood up like, do it. And when they had the knife on her, she just stood up, pushed her head up like, do it.
And the Father Abraham thing, the whole speech with him, I think that helped her, helped build her character up more.
And then once she saw the Spencer scene, which we'll get to in a minute, it just was too much for her. She just, she said she'd had
Even
enough.
if you don't follow the comics, you knew something was going to happen. Like, you could feel it.
You said we've got here Rosita and Jesus talking. Wasn't it Rosita and Father Gabriel?
Yeah. I think I associated Father Gabriel because he's a follower of Jesus.
Right.
So I just wrote the Jesus follower.
Now would be the real question if someone's like, where does your alliance lie? Do you follow Jesus or do you follow Jesus?
Oh, yeah.
Which Jesus do you follow?
That's a tough question, but I'm going to have to say Jesus.
But Rosita and Father Gabriel's talk, again, going back to what you said, it really does do a great job of pulling Father Gabriel into the fold. Like, we're getting to know him even better. We're getting to see that, you're getting to on the same page as Rick. He understands, like, hey, we need revenge. We've got to do it, but let's be smart about it. Let's not just do anything that's going to get someone killed.
And the great thing about that is that you're feeling the same things that the characters feel, because in the same way, you didn't like Father Gabriel when he first showed up, and he's growing on you. So it's nice to have that kind of same feeling as the characters in the show.
Yep. And so, all right, now how about, now we talked about Carol Morgan and Richard. I mean, Richard is just ready for war. Richard is, and that's what's so great about them coming together. It's so many like-minded people. Like, they're sick of Negan's BS, So Richard ready to go. Carol just like, leave me out of it. And Morgan just kind of like, I don't know where I fit in.
I'm surprised no one's pulled a "you're a dick" joke yet. Like, no one's called him Dick. Has anyone called him Dick?
No,
like, they're missing an opportunity on that.
The Savior should definitely do that.
And where did he go?
I don't know. He's got like some little hidden.
Why would you pull that sign down? Like, just go behind it. He just knocked it down. Like, I'll be in here if anybody comes by. It's whatever. Don't you want to keep it hidden the whole time?
Yeah, you would have thought he would have just kind of moved that out the way.
Not thinking that through, Dick. Not thinking it through.
And so now we've got, all right, so Spencer he got dressed up so nice. I hate the way it turned out for him.
How did he clean that place up so quick?
And he cleaned himself
I thought it was
up.
a flashback at first. Like, I thought he was looking back on.
I thought he was going to see like his mom in the house.
Family dinner or something like that.
He was going to see like how his mom, maybe imagine his mom handling this, which I do think his mom could have handled it better than him. She was a very strong, she wasn't the best fighter, but she definitely had a good, she talked good. She was very much, I think he was trying too hard to be like mommy, and just because mommy's a politician don't mean you need to be.
Yeah. But no, him looking in the mirror and practicing, I can't talk because it's so funny, practicing his high, saying hi. Right. I had the closed captioning on while I was watching it, and it would convey in italics what his emotion was when he was saying hi. And I was like, that's actually pretty good acting.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, it was like one of them was meek and mild, hi. One of them was stern, hi. And another was confident.
It is good because I otherwise don't think he's that good of an actor at all, because I actually was visiting my sister this weekend and she was watching that show One Tree Hill, which apparently he was on before this.
They filmed that in North Carolina.
And I mean, his acting is just not good. I don't dislike him. I'm not saying he's terrible, but I mean, when you got people like Andrew Lincoln around you and I hate saying Michonne's real name, so I feel like I'm trying to sound exotic and I just don't know how to say Guerrera. Deny Guerrera. I don't know how to say that without trying to sound like I'm trying to sound.
What nationality is that? What is
she's like South American.
Is that what that is?
Something. Yeah. Does
she have an accent too?
I mean, no.
Everybody on that show.
She's got a very she's got an American accent, but I think she's from South Africa. Maybe I'd have to check. But anyways, when you compare to those actors, you've got to have your A game because they've got some fantastic acting on this show. So it might not be that he's a bad actor. It's just compared to who he's.
Which is why I know.
And Jeffrey Dean Morgan, you put him right beside Jeffrey Dean Morgan, man.
I know we've been seeing a little differently because you'd rather him be a little bit bigger and to match his comic counterpart, and especially with him not wearing.
Part of his appeal was he's this lumbering, towering.
With him not wearing his leather jacket, man, he looked tiny.
Yeah,
he looked really skinny.
Definitely. I understand if they don't want to make him. Because I've heard the argument, well, they're in a zombie apocalypse, but he's at the top of the mountain. He's eating better than anyone. So, I understand if they don't want to make him just this crazily beefed up guy, but I mean, at least be like, all right, man, look, before we film this, hit the gym for about a good month. Let's just get a little shape to that chest. Because really, if anything, Negan just had this giant chest.
Maybe that's what they're going to do with his character, because when war comes, he's like, well, I got to start getting
I don't think he's going to have time, because it just kind of all unravels within a couple of days, It goes from 1 minute they're all getting along, and he's gutting Spencer to they're throwing grenades back and forth over the wall.
Yeah. Well, shit, if Spencer can clean his house up in 3 seconds, then Negan should be able to get ripped in about 5 minutes.
But so now let's talk about Daryl. Now, I saw some parallels in that, in the way I felt so bad for the guy he killed. Because
fat Joe, fat something.
He was a nice guy.
He didn't see, but we saw, how Negan treated him. This guy obviously is not one of the vicious saviors. He's kind of like Sam in Game of Thrones. Yeah. He's just kind of there and tells him, like, hey, you can walk. He had a gun on his hip, too. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he told him, he's like, you can go. In the way Daryl killed him, of course, he beat his head inside out.
But I think Daryl saw that. If he were to let him go, the minute that Daryl left, then Negan came back, the guy would be like, Daryl's gone.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the parallel between how he killed him to what he witnessed Negan doing. He didn't just kill him he beat his head inside out.
What did he say to him? He said something about, we're not trying to get a piece or whatever. We're not trying to get my part, I'm trying to get all of it or something.
Yeah, something. And then Jesus, of course, shows up and
with
sees
an awesome
Daryl.
Slide in right there. He just slid right around the corner.
Awesome. So let me ask you, I didn't get this, and maybe it's a lot going on, and you guys got to realize we don't get paid to study this show, so we don't, there are things, we're just like you guys. We're not experts at all. We make predictions that don't happen all the time. But so, did we find out who left him the key? Was it Jesus or was it Dwight? We never found out, right? We didn't see Dwight this whole episode.
We'll find out eventually.
Because Jesus...
we didn't see Dwight at all.
We didn't see him at all. Jesus could have... Because the key was there waiting on him when he got back to his cell, right?
Yeah.
Or did somebody slide it in the door?
Slipped it under the door.
Okay, so that's what I was telling my girlfriend. Tried to say that it was there. And I thought someone slipped it under the door. And that's what I said. If Jesus would have slipped it under the door, why didn't he just unlock it for him and been like, all right, let's go. You know what I'm saying?
I think it was Dwight then, because they would have let us know it was Jesus by now.
I feel like Dwight, sees a little bit of himself in Daryl, like his fight, like he knows that was just me.
He's tired of having his wife getting plowed and having a messed up face.
And I've seen rumors on the internet that not Jeffrey Dean Morgan, that Negan is trying to impregnate her. So.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan is trying to impregnate her. Man,
it's like, dude, he takes his acting so serious.
There's so many lawsuits against him from the show, but they're like, he's a really good character. So can you guys just use it in your acting?
Well, and then we get back to Michonne in the car, and is that where that's where Michonne kills the girl, right?
Did she kill her?
Yeah, she did. Okay. She told her there's a silencer, and
that's right. And then jump the thing off.
You see her slide over to the driver's seat. No, she killed her. I think that woman wanted to be killed, basically saying, "I don't want to be Negan anymore."
But she took the fun out of it.
She did. At least run or something,
right? Or at least beg for your life or something. Come on.
She might not have wanted it. She did fight back at the beginning, but maybe she just knew she's going to kill me. Yeah. So whatever. Just there's a silence.
I did like how Michonne was like, I know you think that talking's not going to change the outcome. Right. I'm not like him, Yeah. But
they're
killed
slowly,
her anyway.
Well, they say that, but each one is starting to kind of show they are a little bit like Negan. Michonne killed her. Daryl beat that guy's head inside out. Rick has killed a mini just for crossing him wrong.
Which I think when she said that, when she's like, look down there or whatever, we're all Negan. I don't think the girl was just talking about herself and all the saviors. I think she was meaning literally everyone in this post-apocalyptic zombie world. Everyone is Negan now.
Yeah, that's way deeper than I looked into it. I just thought she was just saying because she's like, take me to Negan, and she took her to a group of people, and she's like, we're all Negan.
I made a good observation. Yeah,
boy.
But it could have been deep. All right, so now I'm just like, I don't think it was that deep, but it could have been. Now, Rick and Aaron, when Aaron was getting beat up, man, I wanted to break the TV so bad. I'm like, do not beat up Aaron.
Kicked him right in the kidney.
He's like the nicest guy in Alexandria. You know what I mean? He has no weasel agenda. He's not, backstabbing. He's very straightforward, and he's a strong guy. So
he's going to die
he's one of the most straightforward.
Yeah.
He better not. They'll kill Aaron.
I thought they were going to kill him, but I like how Rick picked him up. He's like, come on, it's not that bad. Come on.
He's
just like, I'm like, dude, give the man a second.
All right, I'm not going to flash forward. I'm going to come back because we're trying to keep this, if you haven't noticed, in order of the episode. But man, at the end of the episode where it showed the kind of zooming up or whatever, I was like, oh God, I don't want to see Rick and Daryl's reunion. I missed you, brother. It's like, oh God,
but man,
this is getting there.
That whole note about you win, but you didn't really win. If that guy in the boots is really the dude that left all that stuff, he could have tainted it or poisoned it. He's got his stash somewhere else. So
very good point. Yeah,
the saviors get that and get diarrhea when they get home. And
there's nothing worse.
It was Aaron.
Diarrhea is the worst.
Between that and the zombie eating pigs, things might get rough for the saviors here. And so then the scene that everyone is going to be talking about, and please God, don't let the parents be coming out going, this show's getting too violent. It's
First of all, I let out.
Man, the comics fans should be thrilled with that because that was so spot on to the comics.
When he did that, you heard me. I let out because I watch in the next studio because I go to bed before it comes on, and I let out when it happened. I went, damn, like that. I mean, I know we've seen a lot of messed up stuff this season throughout the entire series, but that was
it's like you knew it was going to happen, but you just were not ready for it, man. And then I felt so bad for Spencer because we were talking about this off mic. Spencer in the comics was just a straight up douchebag. Not saying this one wasn't a douche, but I don't think he necessarily wanted to kill Rick. I just think that he felt he was better suited to run Hilltop. I mean, not Hilltop, Alexandria. I feel like what he was asking Negan, and I might be wrong. I need to watch it again.
Yeah, I think what's his end game?
I feel like what he was just asking Negan was just to appoint me leader. You know what I mean? Rick doesn't play well with others. He's not going to do what you want, blah, 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 blah. Let me lead and make the decisions. And I think we'll get along much better. I think is what he was trying to push. Where in the comics, he just was straight up like kill Rick and let me have his spot. But I loved what Jeffrey Dean Morgan, is so good as Negan, so good.
Oh, that speech that he gave. Even if you haven't seen the comics, like this scene would get you hyped.
Oh yeah, and it was so right on with the comics too. But I just Negan. Just is, I love that they're showing he's got this code to him. It's like, okay, here's this guy telling me that eventually Rick's probably going to rebel, and rather than keep him in as maybe a spy or something, it's like he almost hates a rat. As much as anyone else. And I like what he said.
Snitches get stitches.
Because that's the way Negan operates. He's like, well, if you want his spot, why don't you just kill him and take it? Because that's very much Negan's approach to everything.
He's like, Rick is out there.
If I want it, I'm going to get it.
Gathering stuff for me, swallowing his hate.
Yeah, he's productive.
Meanwhile,
for me. You're here trying
bitch.
to just slide in and get his spot. I did feel bad for Spencer, though. In the comics, I didn't. In the show, I did feel bad for him. I think he just needed a good backhand.
As someone who's not familiar with the comics, I still didn't feel bad for him. I still was like,
I did.
No.
I did. I felt bad. I mean, I didn't say he deserved to live, but I don't think that he was, saying straight up, kill Rick. I think he was just saying, I think I'll be a better leader. And like, Daddy, please let me.
My biggest qualm with the episode happened next, and that was Rosita shooting. Now, because of course, black screen gunfire.
Right.
So I'm thinking, I bet it was a blank or something. I bet Eugene, screwed her over. And then the bat caught the bullet. Yeah. Like, did that happen in the comics?
Well, the bat did get shot, but it was Carl that shot the bat. Because remember, Negan's like F, and like he just like the whole bubble is just different variations of the F word.
That's awesome.
But it's Carl, and he takes a chunk out of Lucille when he does it. No, that didn't happen.
And I don't think it was
I didn't like that at all.
Like that.
No, it was actually during a skirmish. Like they were fighting.
Would that? I mean.
Yeah,
so what kind of gun? What kind of gun was that?
It was like a 9. It was. Well, it could be. I don't know. It's a Beretta 92 or either the M9 variant.
What's the stopping power?
A 9mm or a 40. I don't think they make it in anything else. Odds are it was a 9mm. I think from looking at the bullet, it was a 9mm. Put it this way: I can shoot school textbooks with my 9mm, and it's all circumstantial, man. Like we've went shooting before, and in the board. Like maybe we had a board up and a target in the board. My 45 didn't even get all the way through the board.
So it is possible that bat could stop.
And it's got barbed wire wrapped around it too. Right. So I mean, it's metal.
I think it's more tightly. Of the small amount of surface area that the bat gives up compared to where the bullets.
There's so many variables you have to take in. How much gunpowder did Eugene put into it? It could have been an underpowered bullet. And it's a 9mm, and it was just like a lead. It looked like it had no jacket, nothing. So I mean, it's obviously, yes, I'm not saying a 9mm can't go through a baseball bat, and I'm sure someone on YouTube is going to make a video and show whether or not it can. Actually, you know what? We should test that. We could do that.
Oh, God. I'm not supposed to have firearms.
All right, JP, we could do that.
I can't.
We could. I mean, that would be something we can do this weekend. All we have to do is take a baseball bat, and I've got both the gun, the bat, and we just get a vice grip to hold it in place, shoot the bat.
That would be cool.
Actually, you know what? You don't even have to have it that tight because it was in Negan's hand. Now, the only thing was, my thought, the bullet would have probably hit the bat and made it pop him in the head. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't just be holding the bat like, what the hell? I mean, 9mm is don't have crazy amount of stopping power.
That's a fun experiment.
We could do it. I mean, all we got to do is go.
Happy holidays.
Hell yeah. All right,
Nothing better than
I'm sure someone will do it,
bat.
but maybe you'll see that here. We got to stick to that. We told the listeners that we're going to do that. We got to stick to it. The next weekend or two,
I'm just
shooting the baseball bat. I actually have that gun, too. I have, it's the Taurus model of it, but it's made in the same factory in Brazil, everything, the 92 model. I've got that gun. We'll take that gun with a 9mm, from what I can tell, FMJ,
I'll make
and we'll
the bullets.
shoot the bat. and we'll see. No.
No?
No.
Okay. Because all you need is just like a firecracker and some gunpowder.
I just am excited. That would be fun. I think the listeners would like to see us, try that experiment in a very safe, controlled environment, I promise.
We need to wear like hockey masks.
But there's lots of variables. Like, could a bat stop a 9mm? I'm going to say, yeah, it can. But,
I'm interested to hear what
could a 9mm go through a bat? Probably. I mean, probably all circumstantial.
Okay. I want to check that out.
Like a very hard FMJ jacketed, probably.
You just said a whole bunch of words that I can't even fathom.
A hollow point, probably not, because it hits and it expands.
I mean, we'll need a jacket. It's cold outside.
But so, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't want to try to sound too experty. I want to say yes and no. It all just depends on circumstance.
I let out a bit.
Also, if Negan would have been, if you hold it too tight, it probably would help the bullet go through it, because you got to think a lot of that momentum probably gets slowed down when the bat moves.
Picked up into the bat. That's true.
Freaking science.
So one of us has to hold the bat while somebody else shoots it.
I vote JP.
Okay, me too. It's unanimous.
Man, that's why. Same way
right there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so dead shot on Olivia now.
Oh, man.
So you had mentioned you were wondering, was she going for Carl?
Yeah, I
think she saw Olivia as the weakest link. Negan's already been picking on her. She already has, and remember, it was Olivia that this chick, I can't remember this chick's name. Negan's,
it's Okra or Acra. It's a 4-letter name,
but that's
and it's
the
something
chick
I've never heard.
That caught her in the firearm issue a couple episodes back. Like, that's the chick that was like, there's missing guns here. So she already had negative experience with her. Right. So she's just like, what, kill somebody. Okay, screw her.
She had to have had, and you're right, because if two things would have happened. If she would have killed Carl, Rick would have been pissed, and Negan probably would have been pissed.
Negan obviously likes Carl.
And the way that she was able just to turn around and shoot her, I mean, I don't doubt that she's a good shot, but I guarantee you she had sized it up from the moment she got there.
It's a TV show, man. No one, I mean, unless you're, I'm not saying no one can do it.
It's not just a TV show.
But you're just common folk aren't going to be that accurate, man. I've been shooting my whole life, and I guarantee you I can just whip around and pow without thinking. I mean, and two, the show is just constantly with headshots, and I get it. They're in the zombie apocalypse. They've had to do a lot of headshots to survive. But I mean, on average, it'd been 10 times more realistic to hit her in the chest. Not right in the face.
Olivia took it in the eye, right?
Yeah, right under the eye.
Or even better if you just unloaded a couple bullets on her, like
just
have Carl look around and pow, pow, pow.
Right.
And Negan would be like, one would have been enough, darling.
Right.
Something like that.
Or he could have, it's like, well, now we got an entire factory.
Well, now we definitely got to make bullets.
Right, yeah. So, but, all right, so now Eugene has been captured.
No.
But he is getting brave. That's the thing about Eugene. His character development, he's starting to get brave. He didn't man up at first, but, he's manned up now, and it's like, it was me, and sadly,
and I like how he rattled off how you make a bullet. That was because to prove Negan was like, oh, I believe you.
Josh McDermott does such a good job playing. Yes. Again, just a whole lot of really good actors on this show. I mean, they really, whether you like the story writing or not, the acting is pretty damn awesome.
Is his mullet real or is it a wig?
I think it's a wig. I've seen him, unless he cuts it between. I've seen him doing Walker Stalker cons and stuff.
Growing to keep a mullet.
Now, Rick's beard is real.
Oh, yeah.
He grows that bad boy out. So, war is definitely coming for the second half of the season. I think, I might be wrong, but I think that definitely for the comic readers going to start following that March to War storyline. Like, we're going to start rallying up. I'm interested to see how Dwight will fit into all this. I'm wondering to see if we'll have him working on the inside for them. Because we had thought that Daryl, and I told you that someone said by the end of the season you'd hate Daryl. But I wonder if it's because he bashed that dude's brains in. Because Daryl's back in the ranks, you know what I mean?
They had it coming.
But so, I don't know. We had said maybe Daryl was actually start working for Negan. Of course, he's not going to turn on Rick, but start doing Negan's bidding, but be helping Rick and them kind of take Dwight's place in the comics. But obviously not.
In this whole first half of the season, I'm pretty sure Spencer's is the only death where he pretty much asked for it himself.
Right.
Like everybody else has died because of somebody else's doing.
Right.
Spencer was the only one who was like, well, he put himself in that
position. He just tried to be a weasel, so he got a weasel's death.
Right. Everybody else has been like, well, that person's going to die because of what you did.
And I like how Negan does that, because I thought for a second Rosita was going to get
I totally thought.
But I like how that's great mental warfare. It's like, you screw up, I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to kill someone else, and you're going to have to live forever knowing you're the reason they died. It's definitely made Daryl a lot darker. You can tell he's just kind of...
Instead of killing them, make them wish they were dead.
Right. And I'm sure there are some people that would. But I'm sure the common person, that's almost a fate worse than death, living with the fact that you got this person killed. Like Rosita. She got Olivia killed by taking a shot that she knew. It might have... Now, don't get me wrong. If it would have killed Negan... You never know. The Saviors might have been like, hell yeah. Sorry about that whole trying to rape the teenage girl thing. That guy needs to die.
Just gloss over it real quick.
That guy needs to die. The dude that was rubbing on Olivia and was bullying them up front. Yeah. Dude, I hope Negan sticks his knife right through his neck.
That's the same guy that kicked, that did that cheap shot on Aaron at the end, like kicked him one last time in the kidneys, wasn't it?
No, I think that was a dark-skinned guy, yeah. Oh. No, I'm talking about the dude that straight up, the guy that was like feeling on Enid's face. I think
he looks like a smaller version of Abraham, right? Is that who I'm thinking of?
I could kind of see that.
You see it? Like a kind of a bulking white guy?
What is Negan's knife, man? My God, that was like a little mini sword. Yeah. That thing was... I'm surprised there wasn't a dick joke in there from Negan. I mean, that knife was so damn long. I hope he does stick it through the guy's neck. But I mean, it looks just like the knife that he used in the comic, too. Like, I like how they're doing that.
Mm-hmm. Big old Bowie knife, yeah.
Comic fans, man, if they're complaining this season, I just, it's like, I just don't know. Because this season has been so faithful to the comics. I mean, I wonder if they're starting to pick
up on the fact that people are, I mean, because like we were talking about, the numbers have been good, but at the same time, still go down a little bit, from past seasons. Like, they're not as good as they were past few seasons. I think they're starting to realize some people are jumping ship.
Right.
Like, I've seen more this season, I guess, from the fallout.
Well, it's just because you start out with such a high-octane episode. You start out with Negan killing one of the main, he's been in since, technically episode 1 if you want to get down to his voice, but we saw him since episode 2. Mm-hmm. You watched him kill him completely unexpectedly. And then another fan, I love Abraham. I miss Abraham so much. So we watched him kill Abraham. So you went from something that high octane, and then you went to like the Tara episode, which was action filled. But we don't, Tara hasn't gotten to the point where I feel, in my opinion, that I'm interested in her enough to watch her carry an entire episode. Now, her side story, that happening during everything might be a lot more interesting. But like Game of Thrones, look how many characters you love on Game of Thrones who might not be as much your favorite if you had to spend an entire episode with just them.
And I thought when she said, because she stepped forward, first it was Rosita saying, I made the bullet. And then she stepped forward and said, I made the bullet or whatever. I thought it was going to be a Spartacus thing where everybody was like, I made the bullet. No, I made the bullet. No, I made the bullet.
Man, that would have been awesome. Cool. Rosita's so badass. She has like no fear. She's just done. She's like, I'm, just going for it.
That whole where she just let the knife cut her. I was like, you are badass.
She is badass.
Right on the cheek, too.
So now we got Michonne pep talking Rick.
Oh, she was like God, that was a great speech.
Yeah,
like,
she's very much. Well, and I think she leads like armies and stuff in the comics, right? Like when they go to war. I'm not saying she was like, but she's very much like front lines, like ordering. I mean, Michonne is, again, just I love Michonne so much. Just straight up tells Rick what he needs to hear, and
And I'm fine. I know I've said it before, but I'm fine. Like with them being a couple, it kind of feels natural now. It took me a little time to get used to it.
My biggest thing is they're both so alpha male-ish, and I don't mean she's manly because she's not. She's a very beautiful woman.
She's very alpha.
She's very alpha-ish. You've got two pack leaders. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you would expect them to be sparring for leadership more so than for pleasure.
Screwing for leadership.
So I'm not going to say I don't like them together. And someone mistook that a while back with us where we said that we were worried that they were going to get killed. What we were saying was we were worried that if Michonne was going to be Rick's new girlfriend, that we didn't like it because we were scared that meant they were going to kill her for emotional impact. Oh, Rick's girlfriend, now, we're going to kill her and it's going to be that much harder now that her and Rick had a blah, 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 blah.
But luckily she's her own character kind of thing, yeah.
I'm not going to say, I'm not against Michonne. It's just, I'm going to see how it goes because we haven't seen much of that. You know what I mean? Like we haven't seen as much. I think maybe more on screen time. Maggie and Glenn didn't quite seem natural. Like she was way out of his league in the beginning.
I mean, I'll agree with that.
But then as you went on throughout the show, they became a couple that
and that's what's going on with Rick and Michonne.
And I think that's what's going to happen with Rick and Michonne. It's just like I said. It's not that there's anything wrong with them as a couple. They're just both so alpha-ish, you know what I mean? You normally see like someone that's stronger with someone a little bit weaker, or vice versa.
That speech that she gave, it just shows such love and admiration and respect.
Being that Andrea's not in this, they did it because in the comic it's Andrea that Rick's with. They definitely, I see why they went with Michonne because in the comics Andrea's very strong, very alpha, female-ish, and so they decided, well, we don't have her, so next in line alpha would be Michonne. So. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'll tell you, it's one couple you do not want to mess with.
No.
You do not want to mess with. Again, my power couple that I'm excited for is Ezekiel and Carol.
That's who I think that's going to happen.
Dude, it's got to. Yeah. It's got to. Because Michonne in the comics was hooking up with Ezekiel, and it's not going to happen now. She's got, Papa Rick back home. So I definitely think, and plus, I mean, look how badass Ezekiel is. Look how badass Carol is. And then they're both, see, Ezekiel's very alpha, but he's very laid back.
Yeah, I'm
Carol's
ready for more
very
Ezekiel.
Vicious,
I'm ready
for
that.
So I don't know, but we'll see. Lots of power couples springing up in The Walking Dead. Need to have like a battle of the couples. But yeah, so the ending I thought was really good. I really enjoyed the ending.
Oh, yeah, that was
the
nice.
Rallying of everyone, the reuniting.
I like it when we leave on because too many times the show it ends on either cliffhangers or, oh crap, this is not good.
Right.
Seeing this and the camera panning up and everybody's together pretty much, almost, except for Morgan and Carol. Everybody's back together.
Right. And
it's you kind of have a glimmer of hope. Like, the next season's going to get dark. It's going to get bad.
Oh, yeah.
But it is nice to leave for at least how many we got, like 2 months or something, like a month and a half?
Yeah.
It's nice to at least have this feeling of, oh, good, they have hope.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I think we've covered most of it.
That was really nice structure. I like how we got through the entire episode.
Yeah. We were hitting on long. I would say we'll do predictions, but I mean, maybe we'll do that next podcast. We'll do something next Monday. There will be a Walking Dead podcast. I don't know if we'll start the what if segments or maybe we'll make some. Maybe we'll do that next podcast. We'll kind of just look back on the episode and after we've had a week to set on it, and we'll make kind of predictions going into the second half of season 7. But so I thought it was a strong episode. I'm going to give that a 9 out of 10 because I was entertained. I think that a lot of expectations were fulfilled. I'm going to give it a 9. I very much enjoyed it.
You ready to have your mind blown?
Yes.
I'm going with a 9.5.
Wow.
I really enjoyed this episode a lot.
Wow.
Really enjoyed
very
it.
Glad
Compared
to
this,
that.
I went above you guys for once.
Right.
Actually, no, let's go 8.5. I'm just kidding. 9.5 was great. It was a great episode. I enjoyed it.
JP?
Oh, who, me? Gosh. I'm going to give it like a 8.5 until I watch it again. I was dozy a little bit last night. I took some cold medicine. So you guys have actually...
Is that the new street name for crack?
Well, no, I would have been like totally wired through the whole episode.
That shows you how little I know about drugs. I thought crack made you relaxed.
You guys were actually kind of filling me in as we went along. I remember the high notes, but and they definitely were high notes.
Well, I'm good ratings. We'll after next week. Well, after JP's had a chance to revisit the episode,
I'm eager to hear what everybody else
re-rate it. So comment. We are loving, and we've gotten to 300 subscribers.
Oh my God, we're over 300.
So that means that we are going to give away a prize. So be on the lookout. We're going to pick a random. We're going to put all your names in a hat. We're going to draw one, and one subscriber is going to win a cool prize from us. Definitely Walking Dead themed.
And pretty much just whoever, awesome. Just comment about something, and we'll write your name down.
Yeah, if you comment, then we already, just comment, I'm a subscriber, if nothing else, so we don't even have to go through. We can just put your name in there. But yeah, so we've hit some 300. Thank you so much. Please keep sharing it with your friends and keep the conversation going.
600 is going to be here before we know it.
The views are going up. We're getting more and more comments every video. I absolutely love it. So
we're starting to branch out a little bit.
Yeah, we're starting to do video games. If you're into video games, check it out. We're going to probably have a couple of different things. We'll have like a JP Plays where JP will be the focal point.
Love that title so much.
I do too. It just flows. And then we'll just have some actual game commentary like the Resident Evil demo. When that comes out, we're going to demo that. On the 19th is when they say it comes out. So if it comes out like it should on the 19th or 20th, be on the lookout for Resident Evil 7 demo tutorial. Not tutorial, but
I'll tutor you.
Commentating.
So this is the button for the trigger, and this is the button to move your camera.
So and you actually can bring your controller. Yeah,
I will.
So
yes,
I don't have to get used to computer keys.
JP Plays sounds like an excuse that an adult gave you when you were a kid. Like when you did something bad, they were like, why does he do that? Oh, it's just JP. He plays. JP Plays.
I heard that a lot, believe me.
So awesome. Well, we thank you so much. Please subscribe, share with friends. I'm Justin.
I'm Matt.
And JP.
And we'll see you next week, or maybe some this week. Who knows?
Oh, yes.